What's going on, pursuers? Welcome to the Pursuit of Calling podcast, where my goal and purpose is to provide you the tools needed to successfully discover and pursue your God-given calling. I'm your host, Thomas Carney, and today we're talking about my favorite moments from the International Maxwell Conference. All right, so I'm realizing as I click record that I don't even know if I finished writing out my notes, but we're just going to go for it. We're going to see how it goes. I think it's going to go well. So I've been back from the conference for a few days now. I'm recording this on Sunday, got back on Thursday. So I've had a lot of time to reflect and think about what happened at the conference. I'm going to give you guys, there's going to be an episode coming out later in April that kind of gives you more of a day one overview. And so I'm going to give you some things right now, but we're going to go through day 1, 2, and 3. And then I want to kind of give you guys some ideas of what I've been thinking about. This is more of actually, we're going to front load this. We're going to front load this with what I've been thinking about. And then I'm going to give you the meat of why I've been thinking about it, the way I've been thinking about it. Okay, this part isn't in my notes off the cuff, so let's go. So after coming back, while I was even at the conference, I was networking. Everyone's networking, talking to each other, getting to know other people. That's there. We're wondering why. We're curious about why. The other person that we're talking to is even at the conference, what pulled them towards Maxwell and what pulled them towards John in the first place. And I found that a lot of people, the first reason that they're there is because they found him through leadership. Other people were told about him through other resources, or through other people. However, that was my experience. I found the leadership part first and then found out about the coaching later, and I already wanted to be a coach. And as I was talking to people, they were asking me, I started coming up with a vision, or a vision of where I want this company, where I want the Pursuit of Calling brand to go. So I want to tell you guys my vision for the Pursuit of Calling. It's not just going to be a podcast. And I think you guys already know that. It's not just a podcast. It's also life coaching. It is the podcast. It's life coaching. And there's another piece of it that I want to do. And this is more maybe in the next 3 to 5 years. However, I would love to have a app that goes along with the coaching. That's more of a companion app to my coaching process. This app would coincide with my Maxwell leadership certification, with what the Maxwell team, it would be essentially ingrained with a Maxwell DNA. And I'm going to get into what that even means whenever I go through my day one recap. And that's exciting to me because I've been a developer for the last between 7 and 8 years, about 7.5 years. And I've really been hitting my stride recently. I've really been doing really well. Not to pat myself on the back too much, but I feel like I've really been doing well with development, and I really like my job right now. I'm learning a lot, and I can't wait to be able to take that information, this knowledge and wisdom, and use it for something that, in my mind, and for me, is something I feel called towards. It's going to help me serve my clients at even higher capacity, and it's going to help solve problems. And that's the whole point of development: is to solve problems, make lives, not just make lives easier, but help make life better. I would say make life even more efficient, help make life, more efficient, make it. That's really what I'm looking to do: make it more efficient, and the app would be very ingrained in what I do in the coaching process. Guys, that's the most exciting thing. And now, not that the app's going to come out anytime soon, but I'm because development hasn't even started. But there's there's the vision. And at the start, only people that are in coaching with me are going to be able to use it. So if you want to get in on the front end, experience the coaching and then experience it with the app, I suggest you get in soon. Because I'm going to start filling up I'm going to start filling up. I'm going to have, I don't have like a max amount of clients I can have right now, but there is a max. It's probably around 8 or 10 at any one time. And I already have 3. So that's I have a full-time job. And so I suggest if you want to get 3 free coaching calls, there's going to be a link in the subscription. You can sign up. It's 3 calls, no obligation, no payment. You just sign up for 3 gifted coaching calls. And really, we just focus on getting you from where you are to where you want to be. And the 3 days, it's not going to get you to where you want to be, but it's going to help you at least start on that path. So you can get the taste, and then maybe we move forward from there. But let me get into the favorite moments, or the favorite moments in the recaps of the International Maxwell Conference. What happened on day 1? My favorite moment from there is when John talked about, like I mentioned before, the Maxwell DNA. So what is the Maxwell DNA? Really, it's the Maxwell value. It's the values of the Maxwell leadership team, Maxwell leadership certified team. As a coach, these are the values they expect me to uphold. So there's 10 of them. There's 10 values, and I'm going to read them off. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like everyone listening to this podcast is going to resonate with these in some way, shape, or form. The first one is, we value people, having a positive attitude, personal growth, lead by example, exceed expectations, live intentionally, equip others, consistency, be a catalyst for transformation, and allow room for faith. Now, that last one, I like John's tactic in this. He says Maxwell Leadership is not a Christian organization. And he says the 10th one is not, quote unquote, required. But he says it is something that he hopes people will be inclined to enact. He says leave room for faith, allow room for faith. He doesn't say, in order to be a Maxwell coach, you have to have faith in Jesus Christ. He just says allow room for it. Allow room for Jesus. And just be curious. And that's his hope. He's like, he just wants people to be curious about Christ. Because that way, that curiosity, that's a seed that he's planting there. And that's what I ask of you. I ask you just to be curious for Christ. If you don't know Jesus yet, I just be curious. I like to try to say the same thing about this podcast, but I feel like I do ingrain God and Christ into my podcast a lot. And maybe that'll change in the near future. So more people, like there's people that won't be like quote unquote scared away just by me using God in the intro and like that. And that's something I've been tossing around because I want this podcast to, quote unquote, not be a Christian podcast, but be held on Christian values. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. I think that's the direction I want to go. I believe that would make it more open to more people and help more people come to, and maybe even help more people follow that 10th value of allowing room for faith instead of being hit with it on the front end. I don't know. It's something I've been thinking about. So day 2. Day 2 was each of these days I met a lot of great people, but on day 2 I met this woman named Raksha Gopal. She was coached on her. Let me back up. Every year, Valerie Burton, who is the head coach essentially of Maxwell Leadership, and she's the one that goes through and teaches the coaching training on the platform. She every year bring somebody on stage to coach in live in front of everyone. And this year it was Raksha. She was coached on her fears of why she wasn't taking action, and everyone got to see her have these aha moments. She had this email. This is I want you to listen to this. She had an email to send to a prospect that actually reached out to her for her to use her services, to use her actually accept her coaching for their business, because they thought that she would be a good fit. But she didn't send the email yet. She hadn't sent that email of her capabilities and what she was capable of doing, because, well, it wasn't perfect yet. I think her and I can relate on that. Her and I are both very high C's whenever you think about the disc profile. A C is very data oriented. They can be perfectionists and we care a lot more about the details than maybe a high D, where that they just want they more focus on the results than want to know about the details. So a perfectionist will focus on every minute detail then in order to hopefully make it perfect. But in reality, as Raksha came to not just the realization, but she was reminded from Valerie, helped her remind herself that the email was never going to be perfect. So there was kind of this circular thinking happening where she knew it would never be perfect, but whenever she would go to send the email, wouldn't send it because it wasn't perfect. Or what my other high C's to really listen to that here, or my other perfectionists to listen to that, like whatever you're working on, whatever you're doing, nothing's ever going to be perfect. There's never a perfect time. There's never a perfect place. What are the things that you're putting off because it's not the right time? It's not the perfect place. They're not the perfect person. Maybe you're not perfect yet, and you're waiting. You're waiting to be perfect in order to make your next move. You're never going to be perfect. It's never going to be the perfect time. That email is never going to be perfect. It's never that text that you're trying to send is never going to be perfect. So just send it. Just do it. Just act. And that was the whole point of it. That was the whole point of this coaching session that Valerie did with Raksha. And I thought what was really funny, what was really amazing, was that I actually got to meet Raksha at breakfast that morning. We met on the elevator on the way down to breakfast, and I didn't know she was even being coached. So we talked from when we met in the elevator to walking down the hallway. We ate breakfast together, and we just kind of talked about our stories. And she was talking to me about not exactly what she talked about this email, but she talked about some things that she was putting off and was giving me some reasons why she was putting it off. And I believe now that she went through this coaching with Valerie, that her I believe her whole mindset shifted. And also she was being held accountable to send that email by 9:01 p.m. that night by about 3,000 of her fellow Maxwell team members. So another kind of cool thing that happened was I got to learn a little bit more about masterminds on day 2. And that was interesting. So a mastermind, for those who don't know, it's a small group of people talking on one topic with a focus on personal and or professional growth. For example, I went through a mastermind called the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. That was a 4-week mastermind for new members on the team, and we went through 4 chapters of this mastermind. 4 chapters of the book, sorry. And each week we went through 1 chapter. There was a facilitator who would kind of prompt the questions of the group, and then we, as the members of the mastermind, would discuss what we thought of, how we're attempting to do things in our lives, and it would really what it is a way to facilitate growth professionally and personally in a group setting, and it's a way to uphold accountability in a group. If you're interested in that, I'm kind of interested in setting up I am interested in setting up a 15-week mastermind. I want to do just maybe with 3 or 4 people for free on the 15 invaluable laws of growth. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and we'll set that up. Just because I never done one before, but I have the ability. I have all of the content, and since I'm now part of the certified team, I'm a certified coach, so I can now bring people through that. So I would really enjoy doing that with some people. So if you're interested, let me know in the comments. Shoot me a message if you have my number, or send me an email at thomas.carney@pursuitofcalling.com. So, and then the final thing that happened that day was a worship service. Now, again, I said already, Maxwell Leadership is not a Christian organization, but it is upheld on Christian values. So on the second day, John held a worship service where thousands of people came, and at least 100 people gave their lives to Christ. And he used a parable of the prodigal son and many other scriptures to talk on the point that we are never enough. That we are never enough. False. Strike that, reverse it. Talk on the point how we feel that we are never enough in Christ. The question was, am I enough? That was the title of his sermon. It was, am I enough? And I think what people realized was that, especially with the story of the prodigal son, was that, I would say, am I enough for Christ? And the answer is yes, right? The prodigal son went and squandered everything. He asked for his inheritance early, left, squandered it, was eating the slop with the pigs, and then went back home. Not to be a son, and he essentially renounced himself as a son of his father, and said he was going to go back as a servant because the servants were living better than he was. And when he got back, his father ran to him, hugged him, put a ring on his finger, a cloak around him, and slaughtered the pure lamb, and I believe it was a lamb, and held this amazing feast because the son had came home. That son was enough. He treated him like a king. Not because, and he said, everything that happened, he said he was lost and now he's found. He was gone. He could have been dead, but now he's alive, and now he's alive and he's with me. That's the Father. And that's how everyone feels whenever they finally give their lives to Christ. They were lost and then they were found. They were captive by their sin, and then they were set free by Christ. Again, this is not a Christian podcast, but held on Christian values, and it's going to come out every now and then. Oh man, tearing up. Let's move to day 3 before I start crying like a baby. So day 3 was called Day to Grow. There was a lot more people here, and it was actually technically not even part of the International Maxwell Conference, but a part of IMC, and where other people can come in and pay to just be there on that day. And this is probably my favorite day, besides the moment of the worship service. This is probably my favorite day. Why? Because, I'm going to talk. There's a couple of things I want to talk about in a second, but there were some speakers this day that were amazing, and they weren't just the speakers from Maxwell today. All the other speakers that happened on days previously were members of the Maxwell organization, and then this day they brought in other speakers. And some of the speakers were Mark Cole, who is the CEO of Maxwell Leadership, and then John Maxwell. Well, you know who he is. And then there was Stephanie Chung, and she talked on how to be a better communicator through a method called brain hacking. And it was just really just smile. It really, I wouldn't say just, but it's like utilizing smiling and looking into the eyes of the other person, and being able to make the other person feel comfortable in your presence. Then there was Tim Tebow, and oh my gosh, his talk was so good. And there's Tim Tebow, there's Jesse Itzler, who I didn't even know about. And then my favorite guy that talked was the last one. His name is Ryan Leake. Well, second to last, because John came back after that. But Ryan Leake came, and he's coming out with a book, How to Work with Complicated People. I'm going to link this in the show notes because, guys, this book is amazing. I haven't read it yet, I'll be honest. But Ryan, if it's half as good as how Ryan Leake, if it's half as good as Ryan, let me see if I can phrase this right. If the book is half as good as how Ryan Leake communicates while he is on stage, then this book is going to be phenomenal. It's in pre-order right now. I could have bought it at the bookstore when I was there. However, I decided not to, and I was going to get it in pre-order. But guys, Ryan Leake was amazing. And if you guys don't know who Ryan Leake is, like I said, I didn't really finish off my notes, but I just want to give you guys those names. I'm going to link to Stephanie. I at least want to link to Stephanie Chung and Ryan Leake in the show notes. There, look them up. How to Work with Complicated People. That book in particular, because I want you to look at that, possibly pre-order it, because one is a clickbaity title. Because you might buy it because you work with complicated people, and then he flips it on that topic on its head and say maybe you're the complicated person. It's like, look in the mirror, look at the speck in your eye before you try to look at the log in the other. Not saying that that's what the whole book is about, but that I know that I am pretty positive that is a portion of it. So this kind of aligns with, I'm just kind of flipping through the images of the pictures I took on my phone of the slides that he had for his presentation. And one of them, this is a topic he talked about, and this goes right in line with what Rock Show is being coached on. It says, you can't perfect it if you never get started. And that's where he's saying, like, you just, like, in certain areas, you just need to start. And like, so many people don't start because they're worried it won't be perfect. And what he's just saying here is that you can't perfect it if you don't get started on it in the first place. And then another slide, he goes, our level of gratitude determines our level of enjoyment. Think about that. Like, your life could be, in comparison, two people can be living the same life. Two people like sitting next to each other could be living very similar lives, but one person, or have gone through a very similar circumstance, but one person lives a life of enjoyment and happiness and joy, and the other person is miserable because of the level of gratitude that they have for their lives. Maybe like, if you wake up every day and you're just happy to have breath in your lungs. If you're grateful for the friends that you have, grateful for the things you do have, and not focus on the things that you don't, your life is going to be a lot more enjoyable. And to be honest, you're going to be a lot more successful, because whenever you're filled with gratitude, I could do a whole episode on gratitude, man. Whenever you're filled with gratitude, you're going to start seeing more opportunities. Whenever you're filled with positivity and gratitude and things, looking for the good things, you're going to be filled with more possibilities. This is all from Ryan Leake's presentation. The guys, I was kind of rambling at the end there, and but really, I just wanted to recap my favorite moments from IMC. Ryan Leake was probably my favorite moment from that last day. Also, then I got a few more podcast guests. That was pretty cool too. But guys, if you like this episode, if you like these kind of more like rough episodes, if we're being honest, let me know in the show notes. I kind of enjoy doing them. It kind of gives me a little bit of freedom, a little bit off the cuff stuff to go through some notes I took on other sessions. So let me know. And if you don't like it, you let me know that too. But guys, if you enjoyed it though, If you enjoyed this episode, you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to share it on Instagram, Facebook, and X, whatever social media platform you use. Thank you for listening to this episode of this podcast, Pursuers. Keep pursuing your calling, and I'll see you next time. Peace.